Have you ever wondered what is the most dangerous thing for your health at your home or at your workplace? My name is Dr. Zulqarnain Ahmed. I'm a GP and I make videos about health, productivity and lifestyle. It's probably something which you haven't thought about. It's something probably quite simple. Some people may think it's food, some people may think it's stress, and I accept they may play a part. However, that's not something what I'm thinking about right now, and in this video I'll explain why. So like I said, it's something quite simple. It's actually a chair or a sofa, but to be precise, it's actually physical inactivity, and in this video I'll explain to you why and how to overcome this. Current research shows that sitting for more than 8 hours is disastrous for our health, and according to WHO research, about 70% of us sit for more than 8 hours, 30% only do minimum physical activity. Physical activity is really important for us. If physical activity was a medicine, that would be the most powerful medicine we've ever had. According to another research, 50% of women and 40% of men are inactive in Europe and US. These are big numbers. And of course, there are a variety of reasons for this, including our busy and hectic lifestyle and the environment we live in and the food choices we make. But there is a lot more to it than what meets the eye. My personal opinion is that, of course, all those different reasons play a part, but fundamentally we've taken weight loss as a goal, which in fact is a mere side effect of living well. And the environment around us, including all the supermarkets and the keep fit gurus, have led us to believe exercise is a thing which happens at a certain place, at a certain time, in certain clothes, and once it's done, it's over and we can go back and live the life the way we want to live. However, that's never been the case in the history of human being. And if you look at only a few decades ago, 50 or 60 years ago, things were completely different. We used to walk a lot more, we used to be much more active, and food looked completely different. And as a result of that, we were much more healthier than we actually are now. Then you might ask the question why? We have much more access to healthcare and we are much better in technology. Why is that the case? Then that's not translated into improvement in our health. And the fundamental reason for that is that we don't move as much as we should do. And when it comes to exercise and movement, I really like this idea, which was initially I came across in Dr. Rangan Chatterjee's book, The 4-Pillar Plan. We should stop talking about exercise altogether and instead start talking about movement. We need to move more during the day and every day, and that will have a big impact on our lives. And as we said before, and according to WHO research, many adults spend 70% of their day sitting and 30% with only light activity. Similar to obesity, sitting is an emerging risk factor, and in fact some people consider it even worse than smoking. Some scientists now consider sitting as a lethal activity. We wouldn't accept this inactivity for zoo animals, but we accept it for ourselves. That's something to think about. Physical inactivity is one of the biggest causes of premature death across the globe, and according to WHO it accounts for 5% of all deaths, which is a big number. The good news is that all of this can be changed, and with only minimal effort. A recent study by researchers in Netherlands found that breaking sitting with either standing or light physical activity can improve glucose level and insulin sensitivity in people with type 2 diabetes to a greater extent than structured exercise. So a gym session is not an antidote to sitting then. Perhaps not. There are a huge number of benefits for movement and physical activity, and I'm going to list a few of them. It improves our immune function, it gives us more energy, it reduces the inflammation, which is the most common denominator in a lot of chronic health conditions, including diabetes and cancer. It reduces our blood pressure and lymphatic flow, it reduces the risk of cancer, it reduces the risk of heart disease, it reduces the risk of diabetes, it improves our mental health and well-being. There's a lot of data which suggests that walking can prevent the onset of Alzheimer's disease, which is great news. Now I'll be discussing 5 steps to improve our movement. Number 1, walk more. Aim for at least 10,000 steps per day. It's a good number to start with, and I'll be the first one to say that you can't outwalk a bad diet. However, it does play a big part. And we can start from smaller steps. So if you're somebody who's not used to walking, then of course going to 10,000 steps is a big ask, but you can start with 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 steps a day, as much as you can, and then you can slowly build on that. Roughly, if you walk in at a good pace, 1,000 steps will take you about 10 minutes, and research tells us that 10 minutes of physical activity done on a regular basis can have significant impact on our lives. So even if we can't do 10,000 steps, but you can do 1,000 to 2,000, that will have some positive impact on your health. And you can also get a Fitbit or a pedometer, or you could download an app on your phone to track your daily steps, and that could well be a good incentive for us to keep moving more. The other thing which we can do is never to sit down for more than an hour without standing up. So basically breaking your sitting throughout the day. That releases certain chemicals or hormones that can be beneficial to us. If you're somebody who is doing 10,000 steps on a daily basis and want to take it up to the next level, then the best thing would be for you to do it the first thing in the morning. It would really increase the benefit, because as we know that embracing the morning light can also set our circadian rhythm, which not just only helps in our sleep, but also it helps in reducing the stress and resetting our body clock, which helps in so many different ways, and it's really important and it's really beneficial for our health. So the second important step is strength training. As we know that our body is made up of a lot of muscles, and muscle is actually a forgotten organ in the body, and muscles control a lot of function of the body. With the help of muscles we can walk, we can talk. Our heart is also a muscle which pumps the blood and controls our blood pressure, so muscles are really important. Every single muscle contraction releases a hormone called cytokines. One of them is interleukin 6, which reduces inflammation, and the more muscle we have, the better the insulin sensitivity. The other benefits of strength training include increased self-esteem, improvement in brain health, and reverse aging, which I think is quite interesting. The research tells us that when we are over the age of 30, we lose about 3 to 5% of muscle mass every decade. So if we didn't do anything about our muscle mass, then we may lose all these benefits, which are really important for us. My suggestion for you would be to try and find something which you would enjoy doing and which you can see yourself doing for 12 months down the line as well. And this might include cycling, indoor climbing, yoga, or maybe something which you found online which you can do in your home in 5-10 minutes. There are plenty of workout out there, but the secret really is to try and find something which you enjoy and which you will be doing, and make it easy. Don't make it too hard. It should be something which you can do with your daily life. You don't have to change clothes, you don't have to go to gym or a certain place. So I normally would do some squats, some press ups. So you could do 5 to 10 squats, 5 to 10 press ups, 5 to 10 lunges, 5 to 10 calf raises, and 5 to 10 triceps dips. Or you could find something online. Easy, simple, shouldn't take more than 5 minutes, and that would really benefit you. So the third step which we are going to discuss is high intensity interval training. Yes, we're talking about HIIT. HIIT is a relatively new concept, and it has become much more popular recently over the last few years or so, and thanks to YouTube there are so many HIIT trainings available, and you can find the one you like. And again, you don't need to spend a lot of time. 5 to 10 minutes per week would be sufficient. The reason why I say that is the current research shows us that 11 minutes of HIIT workout can be equivalent to 1 hour of continuous physical activity. Researchers in Mayo Clinic have found out that HIIT may reverse aging at cellular level. These are astonishing results which tells us the power of HIIT training. One of the most exciting benefit of HIIT training is that it can increase something called brain-derived neurotrophic factor. BDNF improves our brain health, and you can think of BDNF as the high-octane fuel for our brain, which can help prevent diseases like Alzheimer's, which is astonishing news, because we know that we can't really do much about things like Alzheimer's, but now we know that there are certain activities like walking and HIIT training which we can do to help ourselves and perhaps become immune to these problems later in the life. So movement snacking is a term coined by Dr. Rangan Chatterjee, and the idea is that you have 3 to 4 movement snacks a day of movements which you particularly enjoy and like doing, and they're simple. You don't have to change your clothes, you don't have to go to a particular gym, and you can do them anywhere, at your home, in your office, and it doesn't take long. And that's the key, because you have to make it easier for yourself. Of course, when you start it might be a bit difficult, and you might have days when you're able to do it and then you forget. However, once you keep doing it for a certain period of time, it gets a bit easier and we can get used to that. And one of the best ways to help with that is hook the movement onto something which you already do. So for example, making a cup of tea or the kettle's getting boiled, you can do certain movements. That's just one way of helping yourself, and by doing these small little changes, that can have a big impact. The movement snacking can include any activity. So for example, 5 minutes of jogging on a spot, or a star jumps, or skipping for a few minutes. It could be a combination of all of them, or walking around the block, or playing with your children, taking your dog out for a walk. All of that could be part of it. Or you could use this time in the kitchen, or 5 minutes, to do a quick workout. Or even at workplace, if you've got an office, you could use 5 minutes out of your time at lunch break or tea break to do certain movement snack, and that would really benefit your health. The fifth point, which in fact linked with all these other points, is to do some stretching exercises, including the extensor muscle of the body. Basically, there are two big groups of muscles in the body. One are the flexors of the body, which help us in bending forward, and one are the extensors of the body, which help us in standing up straight and upright. And it's basically those extensor muscles which we need to work on, because we spent a lot of our lives using our flexors muscles. So for example, when we sat on our desk, we're using the flexors of the neck, and we're using the flexors of the arm, and we're also using the flexors of the legs. So basically, we're using our flexors disproportionately a lot more than what we use our extensors, because the extensor muscles are used when we are standing upright and when we're walking, which obviously we don't do a lot, and as a result that has a big impact on our health. And if we want to improve that, then we should be doing some activities which help us in using our extensor muscles. So there are certain movements which we can do to help wake up our sleepy glutes, for example. So one of the movements could be to stretch your extensor muscles or glute muscles to wake them up, and there's so many different exercises available on YouTube which you can do, again, for 2 to 5 minutes, nothing longer, nothing extraordinary. But if you do it on a regular basis, all of these small steps can build up and have a big impact, because all these steps work in coordination with each other, and the benefits can be huge. And we know that health is multidimensional, and it's not just one thing. Another important factor to improve our health is sleep. You might want to watch this video where I talk about sleep. Thank you for watching, and hopefully see you next time.